All right, guys, we are here. We are live. Welcome to a new Poker Live podcast. My name is Joey, your one, aka Chicago Joey. Joining us again today is a young man who I told him I was having him on the podcast again, and we got the same questions. Does he still play poker? Is he still? I'm like, you got to watch the first podcast with him, man. But he's back in the house. We're gonna get a little virtual reality update from the last time we talked to him. We're gonna get we're gonna be talking some Star Wars. We're gonna be talking a little bit of life, a little bit of love, a little bit of heart. And we got Jay Rosenkrantz, a.k.a. Krantz, in the house. What's up, Jay? Welcome back to the pod.
It is a fine day when I'm welcome back to Poppyland.
Ooh, Poppyland, huh? Is that what my land's called now? It's called Poppyland.
That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. You got some furry thing with dog paws on the wall. You got a globe. You got a little bit of a guitar and a cityscape behind you. Yeah, it's Poppyland.
You know that's a spirit. You know what a spirit hood is. I feel like you would know what a spirit hood is.
I don't even need to know. Just you tell me it's a spirit hood. There's a thing called a spirit hood, and it looks like that. Like you're wearing that. Like, you know, you're not wearing that when you go to get like a sandwich at the deli.
You know, you're not. You're typically wearing it when you're at like a music festival or like a late night party activity or something. It's
And you're like, hey, and if you forgot to bring it, but you're with a girl, you're like, hey, do you know what a spirit hood is? Do you want to come see my spirit hood?
You're describing me 3 years ago. Not anymore. I'm old. I'm retired from that lifestyle now, Jay.
Okay, so no spirit hood as enticement to romance.
Wow. I feel like you know what a spirit hood is now that you're the way you're putting it now. I feel like you.
I really don't know what it is. Tell me what it is.
It's so basically what happens is, kid, hold on. Let me get it. Let me just show you. Hold on a second. So I'm gonna mess up my hair, my beautiful hair right now. But so you'd put this on. And what you do is it's like got the gloves, so you're petting people and you're sort of like you're letting people wear it. It's like
I wore one of these at a party, not knowing what it was. Somebody gave it to me.
So you know Sean LaForte, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we went to EDC this summer. I think it was right directly after I saw you at the pool party at the Stinger pool party this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sort of like, he's having an okay time. I put the spirit on the fucking kid. His life changed. His life changed after I put the spirit on him. He was dancing. He was having a good time. He took his shirt off. Like it was
it's an instant mood booster.
Exactly. That's what it is. And people are like, they sort of say the same thing you say. They're like, what the fuck is that thing, Joey? Like, what, why do you have that? What's that for? But when they put it on, it like unlocks this.
I want one. And I am going to get one, and I admire you for having it. I want one.
Jay, what have you been up to, kid? You got the beard here? You got the you said you got the grind beard. What have you been doing with yourself, buddy?
Oh man, what am I not doing? I got a lot going on. I'm in the middle of producing a short horror film. It's called Deep Dark Hole. And it is a story of teenage revenge gone wrong. A rumor has been spread about our main character around her high school, and it's a really nasty rumor. And she happens to be a girl who's obsessed with the occult, and she's figured out a way to create a wishing well that gives her the power to compel a group of other girls to do whatever she wants. And she uses this power to extract a confession from them. And it leads to a place that she's not prepared to go.
What drugs were you on when you wrote this one, Jay?
I didn't write this one, but when I read it, I immediately thought this is an amazing like short story. And like the other thing that really drew me to it was I've never made something like this. there's a big practical effect in there that is an enormous black void that looks like it's almost breathing. And so the thing that gives the girl this power comes from behind the void. And so the idea that, like, how could we actually make this, like, actually bring this thing to life and create these effects and, you know, and make it look really good and really compelling. That was unbelievable challenge and extremely exciting for me to you know, throw my hat in the mix to get involved with. So now, like, fast forward months and months later, after a lot of, like, working on this, trying to figure this out, I'm in the middle of, like, hardcore pre-production because we're gonna shoot it in like 2 weeks, and we've been casting actresses, and so we've been looking at, like, you know, 30 different actresses to play the lead role and the supporting roles, and it's, like, extremely hard when you're looking at actors figure out, like, you know, when you're looking at a lot of good actors, it's really hard to choose the right one. You know, like somebody like J.J. Abrams, and we'll get to Star Wars, but, like, incredible find of these new actors that were in the new Star Wars movie. And I, you know, just really, like, appreciate that skill after going through this and trying to make this happen. So anyway, that's happening. That's awesome. The team around it is really incredible. We have a great cinematographer, so it's going to look really cool. And it'll be out online, hopefully, but before the end of this year. I have no idea on timing, but I don't really want to spoil more about it, just that because the surprises are really awesome. But that's one thing that I've got on my plate immediately. On the other side of things, Martin Magic Ninja, Alexei Martov, he and I are creating, the best way to describe it is an incredibly immersive virtual reality art experience that is enchanting. It's adventurous, it's enchanting, and it's going to blow people's minds. It's very exciting project to be working on because a lot of the challenges in it are brand new to everybody involved, but they're also brand new to, like, everybody because VR is so new. So we're in the early stages of making this thing.
Some speculation in the chat on Twitch and YouTube right now, Jay. People are asking what kind of drugs are you high right now, kid? They want to know. They
always ask this. They say, you know, we saw the weed brownies. He's always eating weed brownies. You know, no comment.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to break any government terms of service or anything like that. So we're gonna go with the no comment. So it sounds like you're. I've seen a lot of the things with Martin Bradstreet on, aka Alexei Martov, aka Magic Ninja, friend of the podcast, guest of the podcast. I've seen you guys been doing some stuff on Facebook, and so what's your, like, for something with the movie you mentioned, like an amateur movie like that? I always wonder, does stuff like that actually, you know, like, are people in it to make money? Because does it make money? Do you pay, like, are you paying the people that are working on the shoot and doing all the work? Obviously, these guys are putting in a lot of time, and the actors and actresses, but, you know, is there a potential return that comes from something like that?
No return for something like that, unless you got paid to make it for, like, a brand. Then they would pay you to produce it, and the money that you got would go to paying all the people involved. But the team that's working on this is a team of experienced filmmakers that have produced a lot of movies, but one of my partners on it, he's directing this, so he wants to show that he's able to direct this type of story. The writer was a producer. He wants to show that he can write this kind of story. And so what it is an investment in showing people that this team of artists can make this kind of experience and as a means towards opening doors to getting funding for more ambitious projects that are longer, that people might invest in because there is a market for return on them. Short films, there's no like financial gain really possible. You put them online, you put them on the internet, you show them to people who might fund your other projects.
So it's kind of like, it's sort of like you pay whatever the investment is to put something high quality together. Therefore, you can show other people, whether it's actors, actresses, whether it's investors, whether it's people you want to potentially work with in the future, that, hey, this is what I've done. This is my role in that. And hopefully it's high quality. Hopefully it's good. And that incentivizes people in the future to want to work with you, invest in you, and sort of maybe potentially build on your career.
Right.
Do you know, so I was just wondering this because there's all these movies that always show up on like on demand, like on Netflix, and they sort of have like a guy who's potentially A-list, like, you know, low bottom A-list, like B-list actor in the movie, or even two sometimes, but you never hear the movies. You never see them advertised. I've never heard of some of these fucking movies before. Mm-hmm. How do they make money? I don't know how they make money. How do they get made? Like, you look up their budget, it's like 27 million, and you're just like, I don't understand like how these movies can keep getting funded and how exactly they make money.
Yeah, well, a lot of them don't make money, and Netflix like just buys them because they can get them at a great deal, because the filmmakers are like gasping for any opportunity to recoup some of their budget at that point. But some of them do make money. There's lots of different markets, lots of different ways they get funded. Independent investors, which was how like a movie like Bet Race Fold was funded, but also like public funding. You can get that from state and local and national governments for documentaries usually, but you can also get movie studios will fund the movies, and it's a lot easier for studios, big or small, to recoup their investment because they've got their tentacles in kind of all aspects of the business. They control not only like the actors and the directors and the crews, but also the distribution. They have deals with the theaters and the publicity and the marketing. So like when, say, a studio like Disney, and Disney's like the grand example because they own everything. They're in this enormous empire. But when they like spend $1 on marketing, say, they don't spend $1 unless they're sure they're making like $1.50 back. They just have so much data, and they know kind of what to do in order to make a profitable kind of product. And that exists on scales all the way down the totem pole. $27 million movie is still like a studio is producing that. They're making that movie. But it might be like a co-production with a bunch of different production companies that each put up like $5 million. You might have like, at this point, China is such a big market. You might have some Chinese company like fund like half or 3/4 of it because the middle class in China is just booming so rapidly that there's now this emerging massive market for entertainment in Asia. So you have Chinese companies who are a lot more willing to like take on a risk. They don't even care how good the movie is. They'll just buy it because it's a movie and the demand is so high. So anyway, there's lots of different ways they can make money. Entertainment industry is a pretty good industry if you're good at it, and like the people who are spending shitloads of money on a movie are usually pretty good at it. That said, like nobody knows anything in entertainment is like a widely said thing, and movies like just bust. They go bust all the time. They lose all their money. It's just part of the game. It's really hard to predict the timing and like whether or not people will actually like it.
Startup Tim on Twitch says, this speaker is making a glaring omission. Studios like Disney set up shell companies and then invest in those shell companies to create the movies. Then those shell companies take out substantial financing to create and market the movie. And if the movie is not profitable, Disney will close the shell company, and banks and bank customers foot the losses. Source, vast experience in the industry.
That sounds like a crackpot. theory to me. But I will say, I'm open-minded. That could be true. I haven't heard of it. I was sort of like with it. Yeah, that seems possible up until like the bank customers foot the loss. Then that like makes me like a little skeptical. It sounds very conspiracy theory-esque, but I could be wrong. So,
Well, shout out to Startup Tim in the Twitch chat watching this podcast right now, and also having this information about this particular subject we're talking about. Shout out to Startup Tim, man. I've never actually seen the name.
I'll Startup Tim.
Okay, you had a fun night.
Everyone thinks I'm on drugs. Is it the beard or is it the general enthusiasm for the topic? What is it?
I'm not sure. Chat, tell me what you guys think, man. Dinch says Magic Ninja and Krantz must be on some heavy mushrooms.
Well, think about it. If you know me, and then you know Martin, right?
Yeah.
And then consider that we're working together for creating an art experience for virtual reality, and we're talking heavily every single day about creating this enchanting, epic experience that puts you in another reality. It could be like we're on mushrooms without any actual, ingesting of mushrooms.
So what's this, when you create this enchanting magical world, when you and Martin are working on this, is it a program? Like how exactly are you building this type of virtual reality? I mean, it's probably going to be kind of hard to explain to the noobs out there like myself and like many out there.
No, it's not that hard. That's actually way easier to explain than what we're doing. Like how we're doing it is way easier to explain than to tell you what we're doing. But so we're using Unreal Engine, which is a game development engine. They use it to make the game Unreal. And now it's widely available for use for hobbyists and for use for consumer enterprises. And you use C++ or proprietary kind of like game design engine to build in Unreal, and it allows you to create using 3D assets and code and build a virtual world on a screen. So game designers, game developers, they use something like Unreal Engine, or they use Unity, which is a competitor, to create their games and to publish their games, to make them. It's sort of like a development environment that contains code, which codes the interactive elements. If you want to if you play a game and push the A button on your controller to do something on your keyboard, that's like a coded interaction. Every single time you push a button or move a character, that's code. But then there's also the 3D art. So the character itself, the environments, like in Mario, you jump and hit the block. The block is like art. It's like pixel art or 2D art in Mario, but you can imagine in games for Xbox or PS4, they're built on using these game engines. A lot of them are. So VR is supported by these development platforms. So it's almost as simple as, there's a lot more to it, but you can literally go in, build a game that's like a 3D game that you could play on PS4, and then click VR mode and put on the Oculus Rift, and you can be in the world of your game.
Well, that sounds kind of fucking confusing to me. I got to be honest with you, kid.
Damn.
It sounds like it's similar to if you'd make a game or make an app or make a game for something. It's just sort of like a different, I guess an app's probably a little bit more new, maybe sort of making a video game for PS4, making a game for Xbox. Now you're just making this virtual reality game. So it's sort of like you're coding the game, but it's different types of coding. It's a different form of game design.
Yeah, the simplest way to describe it is really like you said. We're not confused at all. It's like,
okay. I feel like I was confused.
We're making a VR game, and we're using the tools of game design to make it.
All right, guys in the chat. Startup Tim asks, I'm a Steam developer, and what your guest speaker is saying makes sense. What is the topic? The topic right now is virtual reality. So Jay works on virtual reality in the virtual reality space. And what do you say you are these days? I mean, would you say you're a poker player? Would you say you're like a video like a producer or editor, a designer, just a creative person in general? Like, how would you describe yourself when you meet people out and about down there? You still live in Austin, right?
Yeah. It really depends on like the context. Like I really, if people want to have a conversation about what I'm doing, I'll talk about like the projects that I'm involved in. So I'll talk about this horror film, which I'm producing, or I'll talk about I'm writing a book. I've been writing a book for like a year and a half. So I'll talk about the book. If I meet a writer or a reader, somebody's interested in that, then we'll talk about writing. Or I'll talk about VR. And when I talk about VR, I'll talk about we just made this short murder mystery VR film that's coming out soon. So I'll talk about that, or I'll talk about this thing that Martin and I are working on, which is animated. It's like, I don't know, I compare it maybe to like, have you played a lot of games?
I've played a lot of poker.
You played a lot of poker
in the past 8 years, basically. Yeah, I think I sort of retired from the gaming space because I just wanted to focus on poker and
sure,
get as good as I could at PLO.
All right, so here's a good way to explain this in like a poker analog. So there are two ways you can approach VR right now. We could create a poker room experience where you put on the headset and you're in a poker room, and it could look like you're in an actual poker room with real live people. And you could be like seated at a poker table, and to your left could be Negreanu, and to your right could be Donnie Stern, and they could be arguing about the Poker Stars drama. And it could be their real voices, and we could have filmed them actually at there and put the camera between them. Or we can use these game engines that I was just talking about and create an animated poker room that looks like the micros. When you put on the headset, you're inside the micros, and to your left is Chase Berger, and to your right is Tommy or Rose, and they're talking to you. And in this world, you can actually play poker, and you could do that with an Xbox controller, or you could even do it with your hands, where you can move chips and toss in cards. And those are the kind of two competing ways you can look at virtual reality right now.
That sounds pretty sick. I mean, is that something that's potentially on the horizon? I can't imagine there's somebody working on a poker game right now, but
there is actually. There's a company. Let me find out the name real quick. I want to say it's Casino VR. It's if you go to like casino-vr.com, yeah, you can play poker in VR. And they like just held. I wasn't available. I was interested in playing it, but they just held a like poker tournament in VR where you could win an Oculus Rift.
Interesting. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Is that something that, like, what's the possibility of something like this becoming semi-popular, or something that many, or I guess, I don't know anyone that really uses VR, so I don't know how long it would take before many people start using something like that.
I think so. VR in general, I think we're like probably like 3 years away from it being like something that a lot of people use. Some people think it'll be sooner. Some people think it'll be longer, but like I think that's like a pretty safe guess. So poker in relation to VR, like, will there be these things in poker? Yes. Will they be popular or, replace online poker in some way? Probably not, but they'll probably be really cool. And I think like probably if you talk like far future poker, online poker at least, the computer version of poker, VR and whatever internet poker is in now, they'll probably like, be in like collusion with each other in some way. Like they'll probably influence each other's development in some way. And poker, I can't imagine it will still completely resemble like the kind of form that it can take that it takes right now. Like one way VR is really cool that could really make online poker interesting immediately. You could have an app that allows you to turn. So when you put on a headset, right, you can be in a virtual room. So you can look all around you, and you're in, like, you can be in your room in VR, right? So now imagine you had an app that allowed you to play online poker in VR, and you could put as many virtual monitors on each wall in your room as you wanted. So you could turn now your room into, like, you could turn your back wall into an enormous, like, giant one table where you're playing heads up. You could turn your left wall into like a 6 monitor setup. You could turn your right wall into like poker tracker. And then your front wall could be like another 6 tables. So that idea, and take that and, you know, customize it any way you want. And that's something that like somebody could build right now. And as long as they figured out a way to allow it to interface with the way the poker sites work, it would be an app that would be sweet, because you could just have a VR headset and replace the need for like huge monitors.
That seems incredibly far away. I mean, I guess in terms of legalized, actually have it be for money, that seems like something that would be, I mean, to get it like sorted out and stuff like that, it seems like it would be pretty challenging.
Well, all that is just replacing physical monitors with virtual screens. So there's nothing that would be like that would circumvent legality at all. It's just a technical challenge.
So it's kind of like it's kind of like PokerStars having an app where instead of having it on monitors, now it's on your wall, or it's like here or here.
Yeah. It's just like a monitor, a poker monitor for your headset. It's called like Poker Monitor, say, and it's a customizable poker monitor. If you have a VR headset, and they're able to like figure out a way where you can load up PokerStars inside like an internet browser or an app inside the headset, and allows you to then like, create virtual monitors. It's really, VR is a really hard thing to talk about if you haven't tried it, because it's hard to like understand, put your mind around if you haven't like put it on and kind of get it. It's definitely the kind of thing that you need to experience to like fully grasp. The other thing is that you can see why people might think I'm on drugs talking about something like this.
I think they think you're on drugs because of the way you're talking, Jay. Not necessarily the specifics of what we're talking about.
See, that's what I was trying to understand. Was it the way I was talking?
I think so. Shout out to Kristen Wilson in the chat, former friend of the podcast, guest of the podcast. She says, Joey and Jay, what's up? What's up, Kristen? Welcome to the stream, my young, beautiful friend. I hope everything's going well.
Poker refugees.
Poker refugees, yes, sir. You know her, Kristen. You know Kristen.
I know Kristen. Great human being.
She's great. What is would you guys do anything with her? Did you get relocated, or did one of your friends work with her?
No, I just a friend. Just like an ebullient spirit.
What?
You gotta look it up. You gotta look it up.
Ebullient spirit?
Ebullient.
Ebullient? Puppy, what kind of word are you whipping out? God, sick word, kid. Cheerful and full energy. That sounds like
you're welcome, Joey.
That sounds like Kristen. Ebullient. Okay, ebullient. I learned a new word today. That's like, I'm gonna start using this word now, man. Exuberant, buoyant, cheerful, joyful, cheery, merry, jolly, sunny, jaunty, lighthearted, elated.
You hang with me, kid, you learn a new word every day.
Oh my god. Oh, that's great. Tim's in Twitch chat saying some interesting things. Thank you for the comments, Tim. It sounds fun. Sounds like when can we you want to update people on your poker? Did you play any poker during the series? I want to get into Star Wars, so let's just get poker out of the way though, and then let's do that. Did you play any poker during the series out there? Did you play any events? Did you play any in the past 7-8 months, something like that?
I played in a poker tournament where I took third place, and against like a field of complete amateurs. And
was this at the pub or something like that?
No, it was like a friend's birthday party. And he loves poker, and it's a bunch of people who really love movies, but they really love poker too. But obviously, they knew I was like a former pro, and so I faced a lot of like the kinds of things you see when somebody's like all sorts of different personalities play differently when they know you're like really good. Some people are like they're like having a nice chat with you. They're like sharing a story about how like their sister's cousin played in a big tournament once.
Of course.
And then suddenly like you bet the river with the second nuts and they insta ship over you for like 45% more, and you're just like thinking about it for a while, like this is just like, and then you're just like, wait a second, I have the second nuts. I'm playing against a field of people who really have like not a lot of experience, and it could just be like this guy's trying to make a move because I'm like a former pro or whatever, or pro poker player, and so like I call, like turns over like there's a hand when like the nuts was like the ace high flush, I had like the king high flush, turns over the the like naked jack of hearts and an ace. So like it wasn't even like the naked ace bluff. Anyway, a lot of different. I came in third in that tournament or fourth or something like that. And I played in the World Series, some cash games, but like they weren't that fun because the tables I were at were really, really nitty, and the nitty players were like all kind of not talking. I really like playing poker. I still love it, and I like playing live poker, but I really love it when there are a bunch of just like ridiculous human beings at the table. I really like collecting stories and interacting with people that I never ever get to meet anywhere else. So I didn't get that at the World Series.
Jay, I got a feeling I know what happened with your World Series experience, my friend. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if you play this game, and this is something I've been saying a lot recently on podcast. It wasn't live PLO, was it? It was live No Limit, where it's a bunch of guys with the headphones and the fucking iPads, and they're fucking don't say a fucking word, and you're like, so I've tried a couple. I played a little bit of 5, 10, 10, 20 games this summer for No Limit just to see what it was like, and it was the most boring experience ever. But you come over to PLO, it's fun. People are drinking, having a good time. You get 4 cards. I mean, I feel like
live PLO is good. I mean, yeah. I should just only play live PLO from now on. I'll probably have a better time.
You definitely should play live PLO. Did you play? Did you played some PLO back in the day, right?
Yeah, but the problem is like I have battle scars from PLO. Lost so much money playing PLO. It's like I have like post-traumatic stress when I get into PLO hands. Like I just want to lose as much money as possible as quickly as possible. I can't like help myself. I get on this like Cheshire cat kind of grin, like just like filled with glee. It's slinging in crazy amounts of money in all sorts of different situations, like deuce, 5, 7, jack, single suited, re-raise from the big blind, re-raise the field. No, you don't do probably. I mean, listen, I'm not here to teach you PLO, but that might be a minus EV. I got to get back into. I got to get back and watch some training.
PLO PTSD. I haven't actually heard this term.
Yeah.
PLO PT. I feel like we're learning so much today. PLO PTSD really fucked you up. PLO fucks a lot of people up. I got to be honest. I mean, I talk about it like it's cupcakes and roses, but really PLO can fuck you up bad. So
the way you say it comes with I like feel a lot of pain behind the way you say the letters. So I know.
This isn't a personal. No. I love no. PLO's done me well. But I can understand a lot of people out there may have had a poor experience with the great game of Pot Limit Omaha, and I can understand.
Yeah, you're afraid to expose the pain that those beats have put on you because you don't want to anger the luck boxes upstairs. You don't want to get them to flip the doom switch on you by criticizing their game. But it really is a sick game, and the person that invented it should be applauded for that.
I agree completely. I think what the fuck is his name? I don't misquote his name, so I'm not going to say it. But there was a theory that this guy invented the game, but I don't know if he just made it popular in Vegas. I can't remember his name, and I feel kind of bad now because the chip burner guy. What the fuck is his name? He's an older guy.
Does he have like a long black beard and dress in all red and have horns on his head?
I don't think I ever. Robert Turner is his name. No, I've never seen Robert wear an outfit resembling that nature. But you think PLO is the devil? Honestly, you really do.
I think it's got some elements that the devil probably, should he exist, he probably appreciates. He probably like enjoys. Come on, if the devil was going to play a poker game, is he not playing PLO? He's not playing Live No Limit.
No, fuck, man. What happened? What happened to you, buddy? What did PLO do to you? You want to sit down? You want to lay down on the couch and tell us what happened to you?
Next time.
Kid, you want to get into? Is that the poker? That's poker. You have any poker plans for the rest of this year?
Win at it. You know, that's all. Those are always my poker plans. But no, nothing too serious. I mean, it's for me, poker is like an opportunity now. Whenever there's an opportunity to get something good out of poker, I'll play it. Whether that's like a really fun session or make a lot of money, or impress a lady who's enchanted by my past as a heroic gambler, you know? So I take it as it comes.
How often has that happened?
It happens like now and then. Like you ask like when people, so when it's like the ace up my sleeve in some situations, because when you ask me what I say when people ask me what I do, I never come out with anything related to poker. So if it then comes out later, it's like this mysterious, incredibly intriguing thing that like if you really start to unravel it and it interests you, you know, you can like then like there's so many layers to my past in poker. So yeah, like it doesn't happen always, but if a girl likes poker somehow and we're hitting it off, like it's these are pretty good signs for me.
If a girl likes poker somehow, I think that's a good way to describe it. Somehow, if she's a fan of poker.
No, I mean that's not fair because like a lot of girls do like poker, but I think I just don't meet them that often or don't learn about it that often, I guess. It's like not like a thing that comes up with me unless I'm around other poker people, in which case it's like, why are all your friends constantly making bets?
Yeah. Why are they gambling for the bill today? Why don't everyone just put in their own? Why doesn't everybody just pay their own share? Why does one person have to pay the bill?
Exactly.
The life of a degenerate gambler, man. What if the girl likes only PLO? Escobar says.
Escobar.
No. Don't get not that Escobar. This is Escobar 2203. No shots at Escobar 2203, but it's not the Escobar that we're thinking about.
Okay. What if she only plays PLO?
What if the girl only likes only PLO?
It depends how much I like her, but we're probably gonna play PLO.
Interesting.
We're probably gonna lose a lot of money.
What's the single life like down in? Are you single right now? Is it officially single?
Yeah.
What's that? What's it like down in Austin? There, I hear it's a very optimal place to be potentially single there.
It's good. I mean, the weather's really good. There's a lot of young people. It's a really like creative city. It's a really intellectual city, and there's just a lot of cool stuff. So it's a fun place. There's a lot to do, and it's not like as enormous as New York, and it's cheaper than a city like New York. So I like it. It's good.
J. Nick Scott says Austin may be the best place on earth for single guys. Oh, fuck.
It may be. I don't know.
Confirm? But what, are you trying not to kill the games or what? Come on. It's all. We got 1% females that watch us, right? Shout out to Chris.
I recommend Austin. I recommend moving to Austin. It's awesome. It's a great city. Like there's a lot of attractive women here, and there's a lot to do. I mean, if you're a professional poker player, not a good place to live. Maybe like Dan Smith came down here and was like flirted with maybe moving here, and he loved the city, but then was like, I'm a professional poker player, I can't be living in Austin, even though he really liked it. But if you're, if you like to play poker part-time, it's still not that great actually. But if you're like a tech guy, then yeah, it's pretty good.
If you play poker on the untracked European sites and potentially break terms of service, Austin might be a place for you guys. So if that sounds like you, head down to Austin, man. Jay says it's like LA women, beautiful without the attitude and gold digging ways.
That is a good kind of blanket statement. I don't know. I always say like as in poker, it depends, but that's a pretty good blanket statement. Like I haven't met that many fake plastic gold diggers down here. It does have the greatest movie theater company in the world, the Alamo Drafthouse, which is where I saw Star Wars.
Fuck it. Can we get into Star Wars? So I messaged you. I assume you're like this really okay. What is this thing, kid? Hold on, let me put it on you. This looks like a Yoda figurine.
This is Master Yoda.
I agree. Were you sad Yoda was not in the new Force Awakens movie?
He actually was. His voice was in it. It was in Rey's flashback.
Her flashback when she took the lightsaber, right?
When she took the lightsaber.
All right. So we're guys in the chat. So if you haven't seen Star Wars and you don't know anything about it, this is kind of your time to maybe learn some about it. If you want to watch the new movie, spoilers are gonna be coming ahead. So just turn it off now. And I'm going to give you a couple seconds. Please turn it off. Thank you very much. I hope you don't tune in. All right, cool. So I initially messaged you. Are you you're a pretty big Star Wars fan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. The Force is with me.
I feel like the Force might be with you in some ways. I can see you walking around Austin just fucking throwing the Force around and feeling like you actually are Force throwing somebody down there.
I do it. It happens. But Austin is weird. Like the slogan of Austin is keep Austin weird. And I was going for a run with my brother and our other friend, and we make a turn down a road, and there's this a foot, one of those buggy type things that's pedaled by a guy, and it holds 4 people in the back, a wagon type of thing, public transportation, and the driver, he's in a Darth Vader costume, and it's playing Star Wars music. We're this is the most perfect moment possible. So I'm not the only one down here who is walking around believing they can use the Force.
A lot of drugs floating around down in Austin, it sounds like, man. I mean,
I wonder how many people that come on your podcast are like, "Are you on drugs?"
They think I'm on drugs.
No. That you ask if they're on drugs, or the commenters make a comment.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Jay. It's been a couple, but not often though.
Not often. It's just that thing I've got about me, that magic, that little bit of magic in me.
I think so. Did you like the movie, Jay?
Come on, how could I not like the movie? Did I like the movie? I love the movie. It's a complicated movie to talk about. Did you like the movie?
Like I said, so we chatted about this earlier. When I immediately came home, I Googled Star Wars Force Awakens plot holes, because it just seemed like there was a lot of things that just, I was surprised that people liked as much. That it was, I think it was a beautiful movie. I think that the cinematography in it was exceptional. I think that the characters were super interesting. Obviously, with Rey, she's this super intriguing heroine in the movie. I thought Finn was pretty interesting as well too. Kylo Ren, I could have went either way. Han Solo obviously is like an end boss, so he's gonna be super interesting. But I think the characters were great. I think it was a beautiful movie. I think it definitely had some entertaining things. I think the plot was just fucking. I mean, obviously it's like a fantasy movie, but at the same time, it seemed like they could have destroyed any of the planets at any given time with that super fucking end boss weapon that they had, and they just decided to to save it for, the end. And it just didn't. I don't know. That's one thing, but yeah.
So that bothered you.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, they got this super end boss world ending beam that they just decide to not use. Like we're gonna load it. Like it didn't make. Why isn't it just fucking loaded constantly? It doesn't like. What do you do? I don't know. Yeah, it bothered me, honestly. It really did.
Yeah, I know. I think that's valid. I think it's a movie where that kind of thing is kind of like it's the bones of the movie, and like, but the blood and like the guts of the movie, it moves so fast that it wants you to kind of let go of even thinking about anything like that and just like be in it and experience it and let yourself be like moved along with these characters and the story and the emotions and the aliens and the aesthetic of the environment and the music. And I think that's something that is both a strength of J.J. Abrams and a flaw of him as a filmmaker, that his movies have a lot of speed and dynamism to them, and he does an incredible job casting. The characters are always incredibly interesting. Their interactions are funny, and they feel authentic. But if you take time and then you kind of pull it apart, you're like, oh, this thing is kind of like glued together in funky ways in certain parts. And I think that's definitely something that The Force Awakens has as part of it. It's flawed, and it's flawed in that way. But I also think that everything else is so incredibly like well done. It's delightful. It's really funny, which I really appreciated. And it's extremely fun to spend time with it. That to me like makes it just like such a good experience. Like it's literally the first good Star Wars movie that has been made in my lifetime. That to me is like a reason to celebrate it. And there's a lot of it that I think is just like totally brilliant. The criticisms of it, beyond just like some of the things about the plot, like Starkiller Base, like there's one that's like really egregious, which is like, how are the people who are on the forest planet like looking at the blasts from this thing that's so far away, where the blasts actually have to like travel through light speed. They're like, they should be in hyperspace, like you shouldn't be able to see it, but they see it in the sky before it impacts these worlds.
Yeah,
things like that, like they don't really make any sense. And it breaks the immersion a little bit. But the other stuff, like the idea that one of the leads in the movie, he's a defected stormtrooper who's like afraid, and he has to face his fear, and he becomes courageous because he finds something that is worth fighting for. Or this character of Rey and Daisy Ridley, incredible find. Like it was her first movie that she's ever done, that she's lives alone in like an AT-AT that's been discarded by the war that happened 30 years prior. And she lives in its remains, like etching out days that she's waiting for her parents to come back for her, and is a total badass. Her story, incredibly interesting. And her arc from where she starts to, one of the best moments in the movie is when she grabs the lightsaber with the Force and fights Kylo in the snow. They built that forest just for that fight, 2 football fields on a soundstage in London, and they like constructed that thing. And the fact that they put all this like care into actually building the environments so that the actors could act in them, so that they could put real lights in and make it feel real. I think it just made the experience feel so immersive in a way that a lot of modern blockbusters can't even touch, because they use CG for everything. So yeah, I could go on and on about why I loved it, but I think it's a complex movie because you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it, does the movie work by itself? Like if you've never seen Star Wars before and you see it, are you going to like it? And how are you going to feel about it? Which is really hard because almost everyone's seen Star Wars. And the other way to look at it is like, this is the 7th episode of Star Wars, but it's also a sequel to Return of the Jedi. It's also the first episode in a new trilogy, and the first one that Disney has made, the first one without George Lucas's involvement, the first one since the terrible prequels. So it comes with all this baggage. And so, like, for me, honestly, I went into it with enormous expectation. I thought it was going to be the best thing ever. It couldn't possibly satisfy all my expectations. And it wasn't quite the experience the first time I saw it, when I had all these expectations for it, these ideas of what it could be. It wasn't quite the thing that I really wanted it to be, which was something that left me like a complete emotional, just like puddle by the end of it. Like, I wanted something that was going to be spiritual, and it was going to be funny and emotional, and it was not going to have plot holes, and it was going to be epic. And I got something that was mostly that, but wasn't quite all there. When I watched it again, I liked it a lot better when I was able to like look at it just as its own thing. Okay, now it's episode 7. This is what it is. And I really appreciated how they tied it to the original Star Wars, the first one that George Lucas made, A New Hope. And I really appreciated how they chose to keep Rey's backstory kind of ambiguous and end it with that shot of fucking Luke Skywalker and the two of them reaching out to each other, which might be like the best, or her reaching out to him. And just, I mean, Mark Hamill earned his paycheck for just all the emotion that he conveys on his face when he takes the hood off. Who knows? He probably got paid like $1 million, $2 million for that.
I don't know if he earned his money. I'm not sure about that.
I think that shot is like one of the best, probably the best ending shot in all of Star Wars, in all the Star Wars movies. And the idea that, you know, where it could go is incredibly interesting. The idea that, like, I loved Adam Driver's performance as Kylo. I thought it was like really raw when he's like in the snow, he's punching himself in the stomach to psych himself up where he's been wounded. And he's like, it's like a poker duel between him and Daisy Ridley, him and Rey, because she's like, she blocked his mind control and then she escaped and she's thwarting him. And now she's like, grabbed this lightsaber that's his birthright, right? And is beating him in this duel. And like that to him, and he's just like literally killed his father. So it's the idea that they could have a villain who is literally like in the public's eyes, in the shadow of Darth Vader, and in the story world is dealing with the fear that he can't live up to Darth Vader. That to me is incredibly cool. And the fact that he killed Han Solo, like you said, the end boss, and that is a major like step in his character's arc, has me really, really excited for the next movie to see where they take his conflict with like Luke and Rey.
These comments are getting funny right now.
What do we got?
Only thing this guy is grinding is dicks in his ass.
Takes one to know one, buddy.
That's why I love Twitch, man. You get some positive comments on Twitch, but then you get the random comments like that from time to time. So it's you went a lot of ways there, kid. We got to make you sure you have shorter answers now for some of these topics coming up here, because there's the battle between Finn and Kylo Ren. So how is it possible that an experienced user of the Force like Kylo Ren can possibly not dominate and destroy Finn in their lightsaber battle? When
all right, I'm going to take
the lightsaber for the first time.
I'm going to take this one in 3 short sentences. 1, Kylo just killed his father. 2, he's been shot in the stomach by Chewie's bowcaster, which has been established as an incredibly beastly weapon. Should have killed anybody else. Kills anybody else. He's wounded. 3, this is some pussy stormtrooper that he's fighting. He's toying with him. Finn scores a lucky blow, which is the only blow he gets. As soon as he scores that blow, Kylo starts taking the fight seriously and slashes him across the back. It's over.
Okay, we'll go with that. It seemed like even toying with him, he could, someone who's supposed to be this like major villain of the movie, and this guy who's probably never handled a lightsaber in his life. Like when they're battling, I'm just like, how the fuck is Finn possibly like, even if he's toying with him, which is kind of what a lot of Reddit said too when they talked about this hole in the plot was it. I guess that does make some sense. So what about when the fight ends with the random breaking of the ground in between Riley and between Kylo Ren, and then the planet blows up like 25 seconds later? How does Kylo get off the planet? What happened? How did he escape? He was dead. He's laying down dead or knocked out, whatever, in the Force. I don't understand how he gets out of the planet.
All right, I'll take this one in 3 sentences too. 1, Snoke tells General Hux, "Go get Kylo Ren."
How does he find him? How does he know where he's at?
He's got a homing beacon. He's got a homing beacon in his armor that's flashing Kylo, and he gets there using his extremely fast speeder. 2, it was the will of the Force to make this all happen. 3, I don't think we want to see him die like Darth Maul in like Episode 1. It's good for the fans, good for the audience that he got out of there. Possibly not the most elegant way of, making sure that everyone survived that fight, but whatever.
Jamal says Kylo is not a Jedi Master. He's never dueled with a lightsaber versus another Force user and has not completed his training.
That's a good sentence too.
How do we know that? Is that true? Is that made up, Jamal, or is that actually talked about in the movie?
Well, Snoke says that he wants Kylo brought to him to complete his training. Plus, we know that he never finished his training with Luke because he turned on Luke and killed all the Jedi. So, and he doesn't know how to build a lightsaber. He's built this like lightsaber that looks like it could explode at any minute.
Yeah. I gotta give a shout out to my favorite chess partner, Rebecca. Shout out to Rebecca. She's out there watching right now, talking about Star Wars.
Chess partner.
Yeah,
you worn the Spirit Hood?
No, she hasn't worn the Spirit Hood officially. Actually, no, she hasn't.
We know you need to bring to the next chess match.
I should have brought it to the chess match that we had this weekend. That could have been fun. I should have brought it. I don't know why. Kevin said, or no, believe it says, by the way, why were the prequels bad? I never watched any Star Wars, but the scenes I did see looked good.
Some people like them. Some people like them. I think it depends on when you came to them. Like, they're kind of dumb entertainment. And like, if you just want to turn off your mind and watch something that's like pretty absorbing, has some cool action, and explosions and stuff, it's good. But why are they bad? Like, the acting is terrible. The storytelling is awful. The dialogue's awful. Makes no sense. Jar Jar Binks is like both like a racist caricature of a character.
Did you read the Jar Jar Binks theory though, that he's this
genius?
Yeah, I mean, it makes some sense. I spent a lot of time on this. It makes a lot of sense that Jar Jar. For those who don't know, it's a Jar Jar Binks theory that says he's actually a Force user himself, and he is like this super powerful Jedi, sort of playing dumb, basically. And
he's
makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of evidence out there that he's secretly a Sith Master. I agree. Yeah.
It does. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's worth reading if you're into this stuff.
Rumsey says the lightsaber battle with Darth Maul was awesome. I agree. I still watch that lightsaber battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn to this. I mean, I just watched 3 weeks ago. It's amazing. The music's fucking great. I mean, that's like one of the best scenes in Star Wars to me.
I agree with that. It's that fight is boss. And I used to listen to Duel of the Fates all the time during the World Series. Like, that was like
while you're playing, you listen to it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, what do you think is the best? Do you think that's the best Star Wars song, or do you think the Darth Vader song is the best one?
Oh, like best or most iconic? Like, which one could I listen to over and over again? Duel of the Fates is probably pretty dope. The Jedi steps from the new one is amazing. The music at the end of the movie when she's climbing the steps to find Luke, I think that one is really sick. But yeah, like Duel of the Fates, it's impossible to really top. The Force theme is dope too. But Duel of the Fates is like it's probably like the most epic music there is.
I guess I would what's the is it Time and Inception? I like Time and Inception music.
Okay, yeah.
Like Hans Zimmer has some just fucking great stuff. I mean, Hans Zimmer has, if you listen to that sort of music, which for some reason I do, it's but yeah, Duel of the Fates is pretty sick.
Dude, Inception is sick. That's like top tier movie.
Your kind of movie, kid. An enchanting world, little levels to this. Yeah, it's what do you think about? Where's Dan Star Wars? What do you think about who's Rey? Who's her father? Like, obviously she's got these force powers untapped now. Do you think she's Kylo's sister? I read some theories about that. Potentially, maybe someone Han or one of their kids from a different sort of different parent, or maybe Luke's daughter. I think I may have read that too.
Yeah, I've read so many things, had so many ideas. I came out of it the first time like 99% sure she was Luke's daughter. And then like the next time I was like, maybe she's like Han and Leia's daughter, and Luke wiped all their memories. And for some like noble reason that was really difficult for him, that's why he hit himself. Then I was like, she's somebody new. Maybe she's like, I don't know. She's somebody new. Maybe she was at Luke's academy and was hidden away and has some relation to some other characters that we haven't met yet. I don't really know. I think they deliberately don't want you to know and speculate. And I just hope that it's not lame what is eventually revealed and the way it's revealed.
It's kind of what I was thinking too, because I guess I've been reading the theories that it's maybe somehow her and Kylo are sister and brother, and like the recognizing part is, obviously there's different theories out there too, but I feel like that's sort of the obvious thing. Like, it's obvious that it might be Han's daughter by the interaction they had when, he asked her, "Hey, you want to come work on my ship after this is over at some point in time?" And it should be interesting. I hope it's something cool where it's like what you said, where it might be some characters we haven't met yet, or, the person that dropped her on the planet maybe is someone that's in the future. So
yeah. I hope it's just not what you expect. I hope it's something new. And I really, did you watch Breaking Bad?
I have not seen the last season.
Okay. Well, one of the guys who is directed 2 incredible episodes of Breaking Bad, he also directed a couple of awesome movies, like a movie called Looper. Have you seen that?
Yeah, Looper with Bruce Willis and Justin Long.
Yeah, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon. Okay, fuck, I'm saying.
But you know it?
Yeah.
So the director and writer of Star Wars Episode 8 made Justin Long was like the Apple guy.
Oh yeah.
The Apple guy. Yeah. I'm sure Justin
Long. I don't know why I'm kidding. You get these fucking. They look alike. Honestly, they look like each other.
You've been eating the mushrooms.
They do look like each other. Honestly.
A little bit. He's making the next Star Wars movie.
Alike.
I don't think so. I don't see it.
So, all right, finish the.
He's making the next Star Wars movie. He's a great filmmaker, Rian Johnson. So I'm excited because I think he's going to take it in a new direction and make something really interesting that isn't like necessarily tied to everything that came before. Which at least what I hope. So yeah, I just hope they don't like rehash everything that Star Wars has already been over and over again. I hope they like take it in a new direction, make something new. That was like my one kind of the way I could critique The Force Awakens was that like it was awesome to have like a good fun Star Wars movie, but it was also too much like the old good fun Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think some people like that. Some people wanted something new. Some people wanted, I think someone in the chat was talking about J.J. Abrams potentially taking a chance in the movie, and he sort of didn't take any chances. He just stuck with the similar, I guess, layout of the movie. And I mean, it was still like, it's still pretty, still entertaining movie.
It was worth the price of admission.
What was your favorite? Who's your favorite character in the movie?
Dude, BB-8. How could you not? Lighter thumbs up.
What are you talking about?
Thumbs up. BB-8. Droid? Yeah, no, he's not my favorite. But that lighter thumbs up. Come on. No, I loved Rey was dope, and I really liked Kylo. I thought Kylo's force powers were pretty awesome, and I thought it was hilarious how he throws temper tantrums where he just slashes up the equipment. There's an incredible, like, have you seen, if you haven't seen this, you got to watch it, the SNL skit with Adam Driver playing Kylo Ren undercover.
No, I haven't seen it. I didn't see that.
He plays a like a maintenance worker. He's Kylo Ren in the skit, but he goes undercover as a maintenance worker in the Stormtrooper cafeteria to find out what everybody thinks of Kylo Ren. It's hilarious.
I gotta go find this, man. I feel like there's people out there that are listening to this right now that is like, I love this right now, because like I really haven't heard like Star Wars as a movie I really enjoyed. I haven't heard it really discussed by many people. I don't know. I feel like this is I feel like some people like have no idea what we're talking about, and still like now they're gonna go see the movie, like they're pumped up. Even though I find it a little weird if you haven't seen Star Wars, just because it's like it was such a hyped up movie. It was so pumped up, and I don't know many people that didn't see Star Wars. Do you know many people that haven't actually seen the movie?
It is no. I mean, no. But I mean, it's one of the biggest movies ever. Like in terms of
like ever, like in the history. Although it seems like now there's always a new biggest movie. Like it seems like, especially with China and with international box office, like sort of growing and growing, it seems like there's now always like a new biggest movie, a new this, a new that's like what's next year? What do you have coming up? That's gonna be really popular. Superman versus Batman. The new, which is it? Captain America, or is it
right.
What else is in 2016?
There's another Star Wars movie at the end of the year.
Wait, is that at the end of this movie? That's the end of 2016?
It's not it's not episode 8. It's a movie called Rogue One that is about the people who steal the original Death Star plans, and it takes place before the first Star Wars, before episode 4.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a war movie.
Oh, is it like an official motion picture release, or is it?
Yeah, it's Lucasfilm. It's like their thing that they've done now with the relaunch of Star Wars is they're doing a movie every year. And so every other year we're going to get like episode 7, episode 8, episode 9,
Mm-hmm.
the like main story film. But the in-between years we're going to get what they call an anthology movie, which is like a side story that can be like go in different directions. So actually, like, the first one is this Rogue One story about the team that steals the original Death Star plans for the Rebel Alliance. And then the next one, which is the year after episode 8, is a Han Solo origin story movie.
With Harrison Ford?
With a young Han Solo who they have yet to cast.
Really? I'm looking at Rogue One Rao. Felicity Jones is in the cast. She looks like she's the lead.
Yeah. Yeah, like you see the cast photo with all the people around, like sitting around. There's like an engine in the background. Is that what you're looking at?
No, I'm just looking at oh, I got it right here.
Yeah. So like that to me is a pretty epic cast photo, because like, who's this Asian guy on the right side? What the hell is he doing there? That's Donnie. That's Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen is one of the greatest martial arts stars and action choreographers ever from Asia. And so like the fact that he's in this movie, he's a Chinese guy, is like, you're like, there must be some incredible action in this. Like why else would they cast him and put him front and center? And just like, what's this dude with the box is in the front? Looks like a communications equipment. Or like he looks like he's like a bombs guy. Like what are all these people? It has a cool look to it too. It's like more like gritty.
Yeah, I'm trying to like, it doesn't remind me, like when I look at this cast photo, if you guys want to Google Star Wars Rogue One, it's pretty much one of the first images that comes up. It doesn't it reminds me of like a Final Fantasy type of game here, more than a Star Wars type of, although I am Final Fantasy VII is being remade. So
they're remaking it as a callback here in Unreal Engine, which is what Martin and I are using to build our experience. So we're using the same tools that the Final Fantasy VII remake is being made in to make our thing.
I can't wait for Ron Russo on YouTube says Suicide Squad. What do you think is gonna be the biggest movie in 2016? So we got Batman vs Superman, Captain America: Civil War, which looks fucking awesome. Suicide Squad. Definitely not good. I don't think Ghostbusters. Star Trek, kind of like Star Trek Beyond, sort of. I think may have fell back a little bit here. What do you think is going to be the biggest movie of the year? Deadpool
Probably
too, but I don't
probably
think.
Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, yeah.
Joey, my laptop is about to die, so do you want to wrap or shall I dash off to grab my charger?
Hit the
How are we
chart.
doing here?
We got a couple more star. We got like 15 more
Okay.
minutes left in us here.
You know what? Entertain them. I'll be back in like 60 seconds.
All right, let me give some shout outs. Hero Value. They're remaking Final Fantasy VII. There's a trailer on YouTube. Go Google it. It looks pretty sick. That was my favorite game of all time. I used to play Final Fantasy VII on PS1 for fucking hours and hours and hours. I think I tried to beat the two, like, sort of unbeatable secret, like the ultimate weapon and whoever else, and I don't think I ever actually beat them, unfortunately. So Finding Dory. I don't think Finding Dory will be the biggest movie, although it could be, I suppose. Independence Day 2. I don't think so as well. Independence Day 2 doesn't really have the I don't think it has a star power. So. Who we got in the chat? Let's get some shout outs, man. We got Jumal. What's up, Jumal puppy? Thank you as always, sir. Bucarimi, Bucarome, Bucarame, No Home Jerome, D-Dog Killa, Silver. What up, Silver? What up, puppy? I feel like they spoiled Batman vs Superman. I completely agree. Did you see the? I don't want to spoil it for people. Did you see the Batman vs Superman trailers?
Okay, I've returned.
Now you're back. Did you see the Batman vs Superman trailer?
Yeah.
It's sort of I don't want to spoil for anyone who hasn't seen it, but it sort of it gave away it sort of ruined the entire premise of the title.
Dawn of Justice?
Yes. The main the one it was released I think 2 ago. And I don't want to do any spoilers with it, but you've seen all the trailers, right?
Yeah.
So they show Batman and Superman in their battle, and then they show
Yeah.
Like it's sort of
they do give too much away.
They give a lot away. Like I thought the movie was one thing, and it's not one thing at all. It's like
it's something else. Well, this movie is supposed to launch, like somebody said, Suicide Squad. It's supposed to launch the DC universe, like the Marvel universe has been. So I think from what I understand of the story, and I don't know that much more beyond the trailers, but from what I understand, it's going to introduce a lot of these elements that are then going to come back in other movies and, kind of build to this, like, to Justice League, I think. Because you have Wonder Woman, right, who's in the trailer. Wonder Woman has her own movie that's coming out, like, I think next year. And then you've got Suicide Squad, which is all the villains. I think you have Aquaman, which might be a movie coming out.
Aquaman is coming out, yeah.
Yeah, so like this is like this movie is going to be huge. It's going to make a ton of money. It will be interesting I'm really interested to see like what the marketing is like for Rogue One, because any other year you'd be like Star Wars is obviously going to make the most money out of any movie. But the fact that it's like this, it's not Episode 8 and it's like set before the original Star Wars. Like, I'm really curious how they're going to make that not confuse people who think they're going to see Episode 8 if they're seeing a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, what's the release date? Looks like December 16th too, which is a pretty anything that gets released around Christmas, I feel like it's a pretty good time to release a movie. I'm looking at this.
I agree. Yeah, I'm curious to see all these movies. The thing is, like, it's interesting to like when how movies do at the box office, but I see so many movies. For me, it's just like, is it fun? Is it a good experience? Like, I hope that it is. Well, the one thing Zack Snyder has going for him is like the director of Batman vs Superman is that he's like has these crazy like visual flourishes. He's incredibly good at making action sequences feel like high powered and like hard hitting. You feel them on the chair almost shakes. So I hope like the action in this is really inventive and cool, and it's not just dumb. Like I don't know, like Ben Affleck is Batman. Ben Affleck's a great actor. He's a like really talented guy. But but so is George Clooney, and George Clooney played Batman. So, and that movie was very silly.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. The trailer makes it look kind of silly. Like it could be kind of silly.
No, it kind of does. Yeah. It should be interesting. Andrew McKenzie says Warcraft and Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 will do well.
Yeah. Warcraft, I don't know. Like Warcraft, have you seen the trailer for Warcraft?
I don't know what's happening in it, honestly. I have no idea what's happening in the trailer for it.
I think it could be one of those movies that totally bombs. Like World of Warcraft is huge, and I think it will get people to see it because of that. But I feel like the general public who is just like, this is just like a game movie or fantasy movie, might just like be like, shrug, not see it. And it doesn't look like it's from the trailer. It looks like it's like, it doesn't compel me. Like you said, don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's like human versus orcs. And
same thing. I like seeing it 3 times. I'm like, I still don't understand what's happening. Like, I mean, I'd like to understand, I suppose, but I just don't understand. And okay, so let's finish up on Star Wars for a little bit, and then we'll wrap it up here. Who is your least favorite character in Star Wars?
Probably Leia.
Okay, me too. I was gonna say mine is Leia.
She's just supposed to be a general, but she doesn't really do much generaling, and I don't know. I hope, like, you almost wish that they killed Leia instead of Han, because like Harrison Ford was so good as Han, and you're like, the thought of like Carrie Fisher getting like a really big part in the next movies, you're just kind of unenthusiastic about that, because I don't know. She just hasn't aged into the kind of actor that Harrison Ford aged into.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting how Harrison Ford became this like super sick, successful actor, and then you have Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, who I feel like I don't know if they've actually worked in the past recent years, and now they sort of like ran really well to have this movie be made now at a point in time when they're still alive to get a part in this movie and in the next movie too. So
yeah, well, Mark Hamill had a nice little career as a voice actor. He was like the voice of the Joker in all the Batman animated series and movies. But yeah, I mean, could you imagine like you made a shit like it's kind of like you were a really sick poker player in your 20s, right? Like you made a ton of money, you might have a sponsorship or something, and like 40 years later, like the head of whatever the multinational like poker giant is calls you up for lunch and is like, hey, I'm gonna pay you like a couple $1 million to like just, do this event. Like you'd just be like, yeah, okay, sounds good.
Would it be like that? I'm trying to think if that's a good comparison. I'm not sure.
One thing that I'll say is that
I'm trying to build the bridge in my mind. I'm not building it. I mean,
whenever you go, you take a leap to try out one of these metaphors or analogies, even if halfway through you realize you're not going to really connect the dots, you gotta go with complete confidence. Because that gives you like a little bit more, even if it doesn't work. You got a little bit of like metagame plus EV from it.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna go with you. I'm not gonna answer more questions. Shout out to my boy Jimmy Stapler, resubscribed in the chat.
What's up, Jimmy Stapler?
Jimmy, papi, let's party, motherfucker. Let's do it, baby. Socrates asks, is that Barry Greenstein?
Dude, no. I get that sometimes. Somebody said, you look like my doctor. I like that one once. Dude, how does it feel to have the most popular poker podcast?
Is that true?
It seems like it to me.
I don't know if it feels good, man. It's fun. It's good.
Yeah.
It feels good. It's a good feeling, It's easy. I gotta be honest. It's not hard. It's easy. It was easy to do. There's not, but there's some good poker, but there's some good podcasts out there. But it's not much in terms of like the what I go for. There's not many other people really putting things out there. So it's been fun. It's been a good time. I think we've had a lot of great guests on. Obviously, I've got a chance to meet a lot of people. I've got a chance to, like I feel like having somebody like you on or having someone like Donnie. I mean, these are like. Like we've all seen 2 months, 2 million. Like, we followed the hype. Like there's so many like fans of poker who don't really know much about you guys. And this is like this super cool opportunity for people to get to really learn about these guys they've been fan of for years, or they followed, or they've railed for hours, or they've seen on the forums posts for fucking 5 or 6 years. So I think that's the coolest part, honestly. Like, I think that's just, that's something that I've always wanted to know more about, like these different players that exist in the poker world, and to be the one that gets to sort of like tell the story or put the content out there. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm pumped for you. I want to know, like, where's this going? What's next? Where do you dream that this podcast is headed?
I dream that I want to say Jimmy Poker Stable says, shout to Krantz, Deuces cracking 2 months, 2 million, started poker for me. Watch so many heads up videos.
Yeah. Printy rating. What?
No, for the podcast, I'm not sure. I envision it going eventually at some point. I want to start doing podcasts with people that are outside of poker as well, because I feel like, you can only have your audience be so big just being poker. And there's going to be people that don't give it a chance that would probably enjoy it or like it, that are scared away by poker. So by starting to have guests that are outside of poker that can sort of help build your audience, build the people that are your hardcore fans or people that want to watch, and then that can sort of expand to some poker people, and it can expand outside of poker. And I think it's really fun creating content. I mean, you create content, you create video content, I'd like to create standalone video content that isn't sort of only in the live format. And that's sort of a different challenge in itself. And there's an idea, actually, I'll talk to you later about, because you're someone that is well familiar with making, videos and actually creating a story and a narrative and then putting it together in your mind of what you have in mind. So, there's certain things that I'd like to do more of, but, I still play a lot of poker too. So that sort of, that sort of takes up a lot of my time as well too. But Kristen said people who don't play poker would still watch and enjoy. And that's sort of what I think. I feel like a lot of the things that we talk about in the podcast, like this isn't what we've talked about in this podcast. I feel like a lot of people who aren't even poker players could potentially enjoy. They would be interested at it. They would, they'd have fun listening to it, but obviously there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of things out there. So it's sort of like you have to find the audience and get them to give it a shot and get them to be in.
Well said. Like, I'm really curious about what your ideas are for other kinds of content. But yeah, I think people will follow you. They'll follow you to the moon.
What's this guy talking about on Twitch? Guys, we'll take a couple questions. If you guys have some questions for Jay, get him in here. Podcast schedule this week, guys. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a podcast in the afternoon with Todd Anderson, who is the man behind Poker Night in America. And Poker Night in America, if you are in the United States, has been sort of everywhere. They've been expanding pretty fast, and I'm very curious to talk with him about it because he's more of the business side of things, and I think that's going to be fun. That's going to be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Jeans89, who is one of the best. Jeans?
Jeans is the best!
Jeans is one of the best 6max players at PLO in the entire world. So, and I'm excited to have him on. I'm curious. He's Finnish, so he's going to have an accent, and that's always hard for us to understand, these Finnish people. But yeah, it should be fun.
We tried to get Jeans to be in Berets Fold, or maybe.
Really? What did he say?
I'm actually I'm Googling the email right now. It looks like he was trying to be, he wasn't really interested, but he was willing to be a liaison for us to get Zygmunt to be on it, and then kind of dropped off the map to play poker. I don't really know. It's just 2 emails.
Well, he's busy making $1 million every year, so I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand
Me
that.
too. Me too.
Guy on YouTube video. Nick Ross says. People just probably recognize it from the YouTube video with the Weed Brownies video.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
Jimmy said, he says, Jay, I just got here, so sorry if this was asked already. What sort of content are you working on right now? We actually, he said, what's the next step for you as an artist / storyteller? What medium do you see yourself working in? Film, TV, YouTube, Twitch, etc. We discussed a lot of that stuff at the beginning of the pod in terms of the virtual reality, in terms of the movie that you're working on next. But I think what medium do you see yourself working in is pretty interesting question. Film, TV, YouTube, Twitch. Maybe a combination of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, VR is really interesting right now. I think it's most creatively exciting and the most potentially profitable. And so, yeah, I'm excited by that. But I could see myself in all of them, kind of am in all of them. And I always take it like project by project, even though it's all feeding into like a longer vision, so it's sort of like, who knows what'll be next once we finish these things. It's going to be like whatever seems awesome after that.
And so you're working on a bunch of different things. So do you almost feel like you don't necessarily know what you want to pursue, but you want to work on a lot of different things, and potentially at some point it will sort of develop in your mind, like that's it, that's the direction I want to focus on the most? Or do you sort of see everything you're working on with the book and with the VR and with the movie? Do you sort of see, like, have this idea that you have these things right here, but you can potentially grow that to this point on there, and it all sort of ties in together?
Yeah, I mean, I see it all tying together. Like, I'm at the point where when I was younger, I would say yes to everything because I need to get experience. I needed to like challenge myself and learn a lot of new things. And now I'm at the point where I can say no to a lot of projects if they don't really fit with the vision. And the vision is usually, it needs to lead me to, to turn a profit at this point, but it also needs to be something new that I haven't done before. And it has to most importantly be the kind of story that I want to tell. One of the first things that a lot of people ask me when they're like, oh, you're like getting into VR, it's like, or they say like, you should do porn. And I'm like,
someone in the chat just said porn.
Yeah.
That's all he said, porn.
Yeah, totally. So like, and it's like, yeah, if you want to make a lot of money, like do porn in VR, for sure. But like that's clearly like stories that I don't want to tell. Like I don't need to tell those stories. Like I love like adventure stories. I love Star Wars. So like, I think the types of things, even though this horror film that I'm doing, I love horror. I love dark stories. The types of stories that I want to tell, they're either going to deal with like the emotion that is fear and sadness, or the emotion that is like laughter and joy and excitement. And something that I think poker has, and what drew me to poker and what I love about poker is it has those emotions, and it brings them out in a spiritual way, in a way that like kind of connects. When you're really thinking deeply about poker, you're like, this is kind of like life in a lot of ways. And that is like the best way I could kind of say how I look at projects and think about what's next. It starts to become narrower the more I do.
So where do you see yourself? Like, what do you see yourself being? And I don't want to say like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, but what do you see yourself at some point be like that? This is sort of, do you see yourself being identified as someone in VR? Do you see yourself being identified as someone who creates just all different types of content on different platforms?
No, I think in 5 years, like probably like most people in success will see me as like the founder of like an epic VR studio. I think I think that would be, that's where kind of all this is leading. Whereas the other stuff, the films and like the book, that's more kind of a hobby thing for me right now. Like I'm definitely not putting in the kind of full-time hours that I am in the VR thing, in the VR area. So, yeah.
Well, how do you manage something like that? Because I mean, there's a lot for myself personally. I feel like, I have my number one and my close number two and number three and number four, but it's really hard to balance all that time out. It's like you want to be working on number one, but really two and three and four you really enjoy as well. So you're putting a lot of time into that, and then you sort of your main one, isn't like poker, where poker is like, I feel like I'm not sure if you back in the day when you played poker, if you were 100% poker, like that's all you thought about, that's what you focused on, that's what you tried to get really good at, and sort of everything else sort of went on the wayside.
Yeah.
And as I've been trying to really work on other things, I'm sort of hesitant to have something be that 100% all in on that poker was once, because like there's so many other fun things to do in life. And yeah, I sort of want to be able to enjoy it all, but at the same time, it's sometimes hard to have that ultimate level of success. That's something if you're not all in on it too.
Yeah, I think you need to like think a lot as you get older about this kind of stuff, because it's constantly evolving your philosophy. Like you might not feel the same way in a couple of years. At the same time, like you really want to look at like where are you getting your energy from? Like what is making you feel like a good human? Like where, when you do certain things, like how much time do you like doing them for, with who? How do you see those things evolving? How do you balance them really? And do you need balance? Or could you let go of one in order to let the others become even more epic? Like thinking about that gets you to those places. Because I'm like you, like I want to do everything. I really want to say yes to everything, because like people who have ideas, they're like really excited, and a lot of people have really good ideas, and you're like, yeah, I could like envision that being fucking cool. Or even if it's not like a project and it's like, let's like go to Burning Man, and then let's just like an awesome thing to do. But it's like, let's also then go somewhere, the next month, and let's go the next month. And it's like, yeah, I want to do all these trips that are awesome. I want to like travel the world too, but I can't be doing that and then also doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can maybe do one of those, maybe. And like, so immediately it's like, okay, well, I'm prioritizing this stuff over something like travel. Am I okay with that? Is that something that like gives me good energy, or am I going to always like feel like I want to be traveling more?
Mm-hmm.
And does that mean that what I'm doing while rooted down isn't the right thing? I don't know. I've thought a lot about this stuff over the years, because I've gotten into situations where I'm like balancing too many things.
That one's interesting. The idea of sacrificing all these traveling ideas that sort of run through our minds for building something here, whoever here might be. And that's something that I've been thinking a lot about, because I love traveling. I don't know if I actually love traveling. I think I love traveling. I like traveling. I'd like to do more traveling because the experiences are super fun, and I'd like to live in these different places. But at the same time, I'd also like to establish something for myself in one place too. It's sort of like, I like what you said about finding what gives you energy. What shout out to the dog. What's up, dog? But I really like what you said about that, and that's something I haven't considered for myself.
Have you seen my dog before?
But get the dog, man. Let's go. Where's the dog at?
Hold on, man. 1 second.
This dog sounds like a fucking terrorizer. Oh, hello. What's your name, dog? You a little shy, huh? What's the dog's name, puppy? Jay can't hear me. I'm talking to myself. Shout out to me.
That is it. That is Aesop.
Aesop? Is he Israeli or something? Middle Eastern?
Aesop was a Greek slave and storyteller.
Why did you name your dog after a Greek slave?
That's a good question.
What the fuck, man? What's up, puppy? I don't even know how I didn't say puppy to the dog. What's up, puppy?
Man, missed opportunity. At least you got it. At least you came back at it. You came back with it.
Yeah. Let me read some last comments here, guys. Thoughts on Casey Neistat. Do you know who Casey Neistat is? I actually don't know who that is. I've seen the name because my boy Joe Novello talked about him on Twitter a couple times, but I don't know much about him. I think he makes videos or something like that.
Yeah, he's a filmmaker. He's awesome. I haven't seen as much as I would like to have seen of him, but he made, and him and his brother made like a HBO series that's kind of like very creative, original filmmaking. And I've only seen a little bit of it.
This guy looks kind of ugly. No shots at him. I mean, whatever, fine. That was mean. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna scratch that comment from the podcast. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta delete that comment. I feel bad now. I have nothing else to say. Jay, do you have any less parting words? I feel bad. I'm kidding. It's weird. I'm sorry. Do you have any less parting words, Poppy?
What? I'm confused. What just happened?
Nothing.
Okay. Do I have any less parting words? Do you?
My last parting words to everybody is that you should not play poker before a podcast, because if you get stuck, you're not going to want to do the podcast and you're going to keep playing poker.
Put on the spirit hood.
Let's put on the spirit hood. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. 4 p.m. Eastern. Shout out to
always a pleasure.
Wrong way. All right, actually, before we wrap it up, stay on. I'm gonna tell you something about my idea, and then that's it. And then we're gonna go. Guys on Twitch, guys on YouTube, much love. Adios, peace out. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the questions. You guys were great, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to follow Jay on Twitter, it's at DCKrantz. Right?
Yep.
And me on Twitter, you already know my Twitter. I'm not even gonna tell you. All right, peace out, guys. Adios. See you later.